What's up guys, it's Toby here and welcome to a player announcement video. Dominik Szoboszlai, welcome to Liverpool, my fellow countryman from Hungary. I watched him play so many times in the Puskás Arena live. The stadium is literally like 3 kilometers away from my flat, and he signs for Liverpool after Liverpool triggered his £60 million release clause, which was reported by Fabrizio Romano and Paul Joyce and many other journalists, and also a Leipzig-based journalist pretty much confirmed that Dominik Szoboszlai is joining Liverpool. Liverpool took until the last minutes to trigger the release clause, and we will take a look at the details because Liverpool tried to do a payment plan of paying the release clause in installments, but in the end Liverpool had to pay in full, and I will explain in this video how that happened and how Liverpool could afford to sign Dominik Szoboszlai, paying £60 million in one payment of a release clause. And also we will take a detailed look at Dominik Szoboszlai's stats, how he compares to the likes of Mason Mount and James Maddison, two other players who moved in the transfer window to Man United and Tottenham respectively. And Leipzig have been informed yesterday evening that Liverpool paid the release clause of Dominik Szoboszlai. So if you are excited about this news, smash the like button. Let's get this video to 500 likes, and let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about finally Liverpool getting a goal scoring, dribbling maestro, free kick specialist midfielder? Not since the days of Philippe Coutinho and Steven Gerrard did Liverpool have a player like Dominik Szoboszlai, and he's fairly unique. His dribbling skills, his passes, his movement, his work rate, his long-range shots, and his goal scoring from outside the box is spectacular, and he can play all across the front line, even as a false nine, but he can play right wing when Salah is at the Africa Cup of Nations. It's only the matter of paperwork and Szoboszlai passing a medical for him to become a Liverpool player officially, and I can't describe how happy I am because I am from Hungary. Hungary has their biggest talent of the last 30 years, maybe even more, potentially the biggest Hungarian talent of the last 40 years, signing for one of the biggest clubs in the world that I have been supporting for 23 years is absolutely amazing. It's a dream come true. I never thought that this day would happen, and I had Dominik Szoboszlai in my FIFA 21 Liverpool career mode, and of course I will sign him again in my Liverpool career mode. New episode coming later today, so subscribe if you haven't already. And Paul Joyce have tweeted yesterday evening that Liverpool have informed Leipzig that they will trigger the 70 million euro release clause, and Chris Williams also shared that further information is coming out. Liverpool contacted Leipzig to inquire about two payments to do the release clause, but Leipzig rejected that. They said, if you want to sign Szoboszlai, pay us in full. And then Liverpool contacted Leipzig at 7 p.m. saying the release clause will be met in full. Paperwork is now being finalized with the German Football Association for the player sale. And fair play to Liverpool. Many people doubted that Liverpool will sign the necessary players to rebuild the midfield, and I wish that Liverpool did this last summer, that wish Liverpool signed at least one more midfielder last summer, but we can't change that. What we can change is to properly rebuild the midfield, and I think this is a brilliant signing who could become a Liverpool legend, and I really hope and pray that Szoboszlai avoids serious injuries. He had one big muscle injury throughout his career, but that was because he was young, his body was still growing, and when he left Salzburg he was injured. But since he came to Leipzig, he scored 10 goals and 9 assists. In his first season he scored another 10 goals and got 13 assists last season, and overall in his whole career he's only 22 years old, remember, and he has 137 goal contributions at just 22 years old. That's remarkable. 137 goals and assists combined is really awesome. A really awesome number. And Chris Williams also posted an important follow-up saying that he has no idea on Liverpool's payment intricacies, but clubs can have third party pay in full, then pay that third party back via agreed installments, quite commonplace in football, so long as declared to both the Premier League and the Bundesliga. Leipzig is saying that the release clause was met in full by Liverpool, but I don't think with the current interest rates that would be a good move for Liverpool, because this essentially you would have to pay instead of 60 million, 66 or even 70 million in total. So I think FSG have the money to pay this in full, and this is a brilliant investment into a world-class player who is going to only get better under Jurgen Klopp, because if you divide that 60 million pounds on a 5-year contract, that's 12 million pounds per year. For a player of Dominik Szoboszlai's caliber, that's not too high of a money. Yes, people are saying Liverpool have overpaid for Szoboszlai when you consider Nkunku only cost 52 million, but that was also a release clause. Then that's 52 million pounds. So yes, Nkunku right now is a better player than Szoboszlai, but Szoboszlai can get better, and Nkunku is playing more of an attacking role, attacker, and he has played as a striker at Leipzig as well. Szoboszlai played mostly as an attacking midfielder and as a right-sided midfielder, right winger as well. But if you consider Declan Rice cost 105 million, Kai Havertz cost 65 million, Dominik Szoboszlai is worth 60 million. In today's market, the prices are incredibly inflated, you have to understand that. And if that's his release clause, Liverpool are getting a brilliant midfielder that loves Liverpool, loves Jurgen Klopp already. He has a Steven Gerrard quote tattooed on his arm. If you don't believe me, look it up as well. There are a couple of articles about that, but I already explained that in yesterday's video as well. And I'm sure Liverpool already talked to Leipzig for the past 2 or 3 weeks, because Fabio Carvalho going on loan to Leipzig, that was pretty much in the news 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm sure that this was in the works behind the scenes. But I love it that nobody really knew about this transfer, how serious it is, until like a few days ago. And I tried to report it as quickly as possible. But I have been, very cautious on reporting on this, because Dominik Szoboszlai is my favorite Hungarian player of all time. He's probably one of the biggest talents coming out of Hungary since Ferenc Puskás. I'm sure many of you guys have heard about that legendary player who is still the only player to score 4 goals in the Champions League final, and he won a lot of trophies with Real Madrid and with Hungary as well. And I also want to tell you what one of Dominik Szoboszlai's former coaches said about Szoboszlai. Gerhard Schröder coached Dominik Szoboszlai as a teenager in the Red Bull Salzburg Academy. He said, "We saw the potential in Szoboszlai at this time, and also what I see, and I never forget that sometimes the team would have an off day, but he was always on the field. He would train on days off. I was in my office, I could see him outside, and he would make some special corner kicks, free kicks with the balls on the field. I think next to a top talent, what he is, I can also see a high ambition, and in this direction, 2 things come together. Very high work ethic, plus a super talent. Talent without hard work is nothing, and Szoboszlai has both of these in abundance, which is super important if you want to reach the top level. And also, I think Liverpool letting leave James Milner, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Arthur, that's significant, because that is £535,000 per week off from their wage bill. So Liverpool cut £500,000 off their wage bill per week, which is, if you extrapolate, £28 million per year. So Liverpool are saving £28 million per year on just wages by letting these 4 players leave. So that's why I think Liverpool are finally able to make some big transfer moves. The wage bill was a significant, very significant portion of Liverpool's expenditure. Many people are asking why can't Liverpool spend as much money as Arsenal. Arsenal have a 180 million pounds per year lower wage bill than Liverpool, and also Liverpool had revenues of almost 600 million pounds last season, but their wage bill was 366 million. So a lot more than half of Liverpool's revenues went towards player wages. So Liverpool cutting a lot of deadwood and a lot of fringe players out of the squad saves a lot of money, and now we can sign younger players who are hungry, who are great talents and with a huge potential. I mean, Bobby Firmino is the only player that I think Liverpool will seriously miss, and maybe James Milner's leadership, but hopefully Henderson will take over that role. And I want Dominik Szoboszlai to start most of the games ahead of Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson should have James Milner role, filling in here and there, maybe sometimes playing defensive midfield as well. And I also want to tell you how Dominik Szoboszlai compares to Mason Mount, for example. Also important to note, Mason Mount is 2 years older than Dominik Szoboszlai. Duels won, it's similar. Mason Mount has 42%, 36% for Dominik Szoboszlai. Defensive actions, pretty same, 36 and 34%. But progressive carries, Mason Mount has 77 progressive carries per 90 minutes. Dominik Szoboszlai has 94, which is really awesome. Forward passes, literally the same. Forward pass accuracy, Mason Mount has 62%. Dominik Szoboszlai 57%, so very similar. Key passes, 98 key passes for Szoboszlai, 86 for Mason Mount. Progressive passes, this is now the big difference. 68 progressive passes for Dominik Szoboszlai and just 17 for Mason Mount. But of course, you have to also factor in that Dominik Szoboszlai played a lot more minutes than Mason Mount. James Maddison is much better in duels won than Dominik Szoboszlai. Progressive carries is pretty much the same, but forward passes, Dominik Szoboszlai has a lot more, and a lot more progressive passes than James Maddison as well. So basically he compares very well, Dominik Szoboszlai, to Mason Mount and James Maddison. And I mean, our new sporting director Jörg Schmatke is doing absolutely brilliantly. He now has 2 big transfers under his belt. Alexis Mac Allister, World Cup winning midfielder, for just 35 million is absolutely a brilliant deal, and Szoboszlai for 60 million. Yes, it's a lot of money. It's the most expensive midfielder signing in Liverpool's history, and it's literally the most expensive transfer in Hungary's football history when it comes to a player moving clubs. But if you combine that, 95 million pounds in total for 2 players with world-class potential, that's, I think, a very good deal, because that comes out as 47.5 million pounds per player. And if you said to me, Alexis Mac Allister and Szoboszlai, they are on a similar level, they are both like borderline world-class, they are almost there. Maybe Mac Allister is a little bit further in his development because he has already won the World Cup and is 2 years older, but 47 million on average for these 2 players. I think in today's market, as I said, Kai Havertz 65 million, Declan Rice 105 million. It's a really good 2 deals for Liverpool, in my opinion. And Raphael Honigstein, who is a German football expert, has had glowing reports about Dominik Szoboszlai. I'm reading his book that he wrote about Jürgen Klopp's life and career as a coach, and he said about Dominik Szoboszlai, standing at 6'1" tall, 186 centimeters, Szoboszlai is an elegant hybrid player, a wide number 10 or inverted winger, depending on your preferred terminology. In pre-modern times, he would have been his side's playmaker, hanging out in midfield while others get their socks dirty and deliver the ball to his feet. But Szoboszlai quickly learned that the Red Bull group of football clubs wouldn't stand for that. He said, "I still like to play, but I learned in the Salzburg Academy and then at FC Liefering, Salzburg, Red Bull's second division feeder club, that I wouldn't get on the pitch much unless I did the work, the hard yards. If you can do both well, it's even better." Szoboszlai has been the joint second best player in terms of assists in the Bundesliga for the 22-23 season. At the time of writing this article, Dominik Szoboszlai was second in terms of assists among the players, which is really fantastic. And in the end, Dominik Szoboszlai finished in a 9th place on the Bundesliga assists table with 8 assists, which is really impressive. And not a lot of players got a lot more. I mean, Guerreiro got 12 assists, Ronda Colomani 11, Musiala and Kainz 10, and all the other players had either 9 or 8 assists or lower. And Rafael Bönigstein also explains that in his teenage years, Dominik Szoboszlai practiced about 200 free kicks each day, finding the best technique to hit them without getting influenced too much by others. Szoboszlai credits his upbringing in a football-mad household in Székesfehérvár, a city 65 kilometers southwest of Budapest, for his fine technique. If it weren't for my father's dedication and that good training he gave me, I would hardly be here now. And we are already hearing the funny stories about Szoboszlai dribbling through water bottles at his house when he was a kid. And if he didn't knock any bottles over, he got an ice cream as a reward. What an awesome story to grow up as a kid, playing football all the time. It was absolutely brilliant to hear that story. And Szoboszlai is very grateful to his father. He said, if it weren't for my father's dedication and that good training he gave me, I would hardly be here now. He took me to many games and sometimes I couldn't help myself running after the ball. He put up empty bottles in the living room and I had to dribble through them. If I didn't knock over bottles, I got an ice cream as a reward. Szoboszlai doesn't remember playing with anything else but the ball as a kid. What a story, brilliant. So last season, Dominik Szoboszlai, 77% of the time he played as a right winger. He played also 10% of the time as a left winger, 7% center midfield and 6% right midfield. But previously in the Bundesliga season, before the last season, so in the 21-22 season, he played 28% of his time as a center midfielder, 32% time as a left winger, 12% as a striker, 8% as an attacking midfielder in the center, and 17% as a right winger, 2% also as a right midfielder. So that's really awesome that basically throughout his whole time at Leipzig, he played in every single position a lot of minutes, and that's really awesome and really impressive. Of course, probably his most played position was right midfield and right wing, but also 2 seasons ago 28% from center midfield. That can't be grown as well. I think Szoboszlai will play on the right center midfield spot. We have to sort out something with the Trent Alexander-Arnold position, because if Trent plays and he slots into midfield in attack and Szoboszlai bumps forward, Salah bumps forward, there will be nobody to cover the space behind Trent. So I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will figure something out in the tactics of Liverpool, but that's why it's really important for Szoboszlai to sign before preseason even begins, so Jurgen Klopp can teach him all the tactics and all the training. I'm so happy and so excited. Dominik Szoboszlai is a Liverpool player. Really looking forward to watching him play in a Liverpool shirt, hopefully for the next 8 or 10 years. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.